Grappling Hour is brought to you by Luda Gear, athletic support items created by grapplers for grapplers.
Yeah. Check it out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of Grappling Hour. This is your host, Rafa Esparza, coming to you live, 1:43 over on Best Coast time. We are very excited. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. Check this out. We've got Urijah Faber on today. We also have Team BJJ Fanatics, who did an amazing job over at the Kinetic, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, grappling event over this weekend. Plus, we've got Kody Steele, who won the combat jiu-jitsu title. But up first right now, we have a man who made quite a statement over in the UFC on this past Saturday. And not just any kind of statement, a $50,000 kind of statement, my friends. And more importantly, he did it on just a few days' notice against a friend. So if that's not a series of things to talk about, I don't know what else is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest for right now, Khama Worthy. Khama, how are you doing, sir?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, so let's get straight to it, man. You did not mince any words when you got this savage knockout on Saturday. You literally called it out to the boss. What was going through your head the minute it happened?
A lot, because I like that setup. Like everyone keeps asking, "Oh, is that the punch you normally throw?" I'm like, that setup is to land the uppercut, and the uppercuts missed because he got so rocked from the left. And like I threw the uppercut, so I'm like, oh, I gotta connect, I gotta land, and he wasn't there. And it was just like, oh, one thing after the next, and then next thing you know, I'm over the cage, I'm screaming, I'm looking at the black beast, I'm like, everything just happened all at one big swarm of things. It was insane.
You definitely looked like once you climbed over the fence, you were just kind of like, okay, now what do I do?
I told someone what I wanted to do was I wanted to run and jump and like crowd surf. Like, that's what my brain told me to do. My brain said run, jump, crowd surf, but I didn't do that. Thank God.
I'm very happy you didn't do that. The last thing we need is to just be like, well, why did he go to medical?
Why did he just jump and land on his face? Oh, that's not pretty. That's seriously what my body told me to do, but luckily I was able to control it and like, yo, that's not a good idea, man.
No, very good control. Self-control really came through. The thing that really spoke to me was this. Is that the minute they put a microphone in front of you, you looked like you were ready for that opportunity. I know it's a short notice sort of a fight. I know it's against your friend. I know that you said it was just business, but how much did you visualize this? And did training with him before help you to visualize it even more?
I mean, as for the fight, like I visualize fighting all the time. Like I try to visualize my after fight interviews and they never go as I want them to. Like everyone keeps asking me and they're like, "Oh, that interview was really cool." I'm like, but it wasn't planned. Like that's just me. Like I was a waiter for like 13 years. I worked at a restaurant for 13 years. So and I've been coaching since then. So I come from a big family. There's 8 of us, so I know how to talk to people. I know how to talk to different kind of people and just relate to people. So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's it. I think I feel like I'm mumbling like, blah, 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 but everyone's like, oh, that was awesome. It was great. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
I mean,
maybe it was.
It definitely, the thing that I think was very, very happy for me is when I see a fighter take the most of an opportunity, because as you were starting to allude to in other interviews, as you were building into this, it was okay. You get to a certain age, you don't know if you're going to have those opportunities coming up. And so for you to be able to make the words that say, oh, right, Dana White, that was good. Give me money. On a night that was granted, you started us off very nicely, but going into the pay-per-view. But yet you couldn't know for sure that Yoel and Paulo are going to put on that.
Because I'm sitting in the back. I'm in the green room in the back. and like the fights are going on, especially Romero. I'm a huge Romero fan. Like I do an impersonation of Romero all the time. Like, I love you. I'll see you soon, bro. And I love Romero. He's freaking amazing. And he was in my locker room before I was warming up, and I was like,
hold on. I think we got
I was sitting there.
We just lost you for a second. So do you mind repeating what you just said?
Okay, yeah, I said I freaking when I was there, like in the locker room with Romero, I was just trying to like make sure I stayed focused because like he was in there and like I'm a huge fan of his, and he's like I could see he's basically just built like a brick, like he's carved out of lava stone. It's the craziest thing to look at that dude, and he's a freak of nature because I'm talking about being 33. That dude's like 41 or something. Like he's a freak and he's super chill. And I came back like, good fight, bro. I was like, yeah, this is cool as shit. That's Romero, man. Like he's an awesome dude. So like it was crazy when his fight was fighting. Like I actually came back and I was like, yeah, man. Hopefully I get that money. I'm like, if Romero don't kill nobody, I'm like, and he's fighting Paulo Costa. And like they like to jack people up. He had the Diaz, and he had the heavyweights. I'm like, those are major fights that like could like really have like gone. So it just definitely was like risky, but it all turned out. So I was happy for it.
It was very nice because one of my favorite things to do is. You were in my hood, but I opted to stay home for this one, and you were the fight that made me go like, oh shit, I wish I had gone. But I was definitely, as I was watching the post-presser live, you know, Data usually goes back there and has a certain taste. I've covered it. I've been backstage when he's been there. I've seen him at his happiest. I've seen him at his angriest. But when he went back there, and he's like, the fight of the night and the performances of the night. Like he had a really good vibe, and I was like, "Oh shit, we have a very happy Dana." So he was very pleased with you. What was the response? Did you get any back? Because again, you would put it this way, and I think it was really, really cool of you to say it like this, which is, if things had been different and you were already in the UFC, you said you wouldn't have probably fought Devontae.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fought Devontae. If I was already in the UFC, I wouldn't have fought Devontae.
But you were not in the UFC. So I'm sure when you get that kind of feedback, you're definitely looking into it. Was there any feedback that was like, well, you gave us a knockout, so we should probably do this again?
Yeah, I mean, like people were like the feedback. People were just like excited to like just excited. Like it was weird. I don't know. They were just excited to just talk to me, just hear me talk. So I mean, like the whole thing with the friend, they were like everyone. I mean, of course, I just keep getting the question like, how did it feel to fight a friend? I'm like, I didn't like it. I didn't like fighting my friend. I didn't like setting someone that I'm cool with back. But in the same sense, just like I said at the end of my interview, he's 26. Like he has a lot. Like he reminds me a lot of myself when I was 26. You know what I mean? Except for he's making like a lot more money than I was making for my fight when I was 26 and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not really that worried about like. I mean, I know Devontae will bounce back and this will just make him better. But in the same sense, I would never want to fight. Now that I'm in the UFC, I wouldn't want to fight a friend or someone that I'm cool with at all. No.
So
like I can make there's too many other fighters.
Got it. Okay, but now are you in the UFC? Did they extend an offer? What happened after that?
Oh yeah. They gave me a they gave me a 4-fight contract before the fight. It was a 4-fight contract. So I have a 4-fight contract. So we're going from there.
Well, congratulations on that. I'm sure this makes them feel very good once they see that one. They go, we got 3 more?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's really good. So let me ask this because again, it was very funny in the sense when you say it is a training partner, and I wanted to move past this, but there was one thing that he said that I just kind of looked over and I said, you know, we were hoping to do the interview before the fight, and one thing that he said during media week was, I'm going to touch his chin and go home, and that's exactly what you did. So
I didn't know that until afterwards. Someone sent me that, and they were like, "Oh, I'm like, yeah." I'm like, he's talking. Like, and when you're young, and you're young, and you have fights like that. I mean, like you're winning that way. Like that's what you expect. I mean, I remember when I was like that. Everyone I touched, they felt. I'm like, oh, and then like you run into everyone doesn't go away the way. Then you're like, oh, what do I do? And then you have to adjust to it, and you have to like build yourself back up from there. I mean, like that's the fight game. Like Man, think of all the guys. I look into so many guys' careers like they were like destroying. The person I like to use the most is Rick Story. Remember when Rick Story fought in Pittsburgh? He was supposed to get a title shot and he was on a tear, and then Rick Story lost. And then like his whole career just went like that's MMA. Momentum can turn you and put you in a different direction. So you have to be prepared for that. If you don't know how to lose, you're in the wrong sport. Because you should be losing every time. I get my butt kicked all the time in my gym by my training partners. I be getting subbed, takedown, slam, punch. Like my man my buddy John, my training partner John Diaz, before my last fight, 3 weeks before my UFC fight, 2 weeks before, he like kneed me in the face and like damn near knocked me out. So I'm like, I get beat all the time in the gym. It's just you have to be able to come back from that, and if you can't, then you're definitely in the wrong sport. So it's just the way it is. I'm like, and I know Devontae. I'm like, I know he can like push past and persevere and like move past this.
So what does the celebration look like? Because I mean, the fight came quickly, short notice. So I'm imagining the celebration, if I were you, would be epic, especially if it was in my woods over here in Los Angeles. So what happened?
I haven't even celebrated yet.
Are you serious?
I've been doing. My girl hasn't even come back yet. So I've had the kids. We have 4 kids, and I have an 11-month-old baby. So I've been taking her to daycare, picking her up, jumping around, interviews, this, and like responding to people and like talking to people. I'm right back to teaching class on Monday. I'm about to teach a class in about 10 minutes.
Oh God!
Like my little ninjas are all walking in now, so it's like I haven't really even decompressed yet. It's gonna take me to like sit down and like have some fun and stuff. So, but I haven't. I mean, like I want like it's crazy because as soon as it happened, like my wrestling coach, so Sylvester Turkey, he recently had to retire because he has bad knees. He's like he's a D1 national wrestling champion. He freaking wrestled Kurt Angle. He's a beast, right? And he hit me up and he was like, no time off, you're right back to training, yada yada yada. He was like, don't get comfortable and all that. He's like, I don't want to see. He's like, start training harder because now everyone's gonna want to beat you. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm actually gonna get back to training next Monday because my little brother fights. He has a fight coming up midway through September, so I'm like right back to training. So I'm not really, I mean, like, it's just what it is.
No cake or anything? You don't get any like special treat? There's no barbecue?
I've been eating Taco Bell. I'm a vegetarian, so I just go there and get like the $5 box. I tell them give it all bean and make it 2 of them, and I eat like 6 tacos. But I haven't really had any cake or anything.
So, okay. I mean, the good news is you didn't really sustain any injuries. Right. It was a good fight. I imagine there's not much of a medical clearance issue. How quickly are they looking to get you back in there?
I got to sit back with my coaches and my managers, but I'm definitely looking to fight before the end of the year. I know for sure I can't not fight. Like either before the end of the year or like January, because I start spazzing out if I don't really hit something every like 5 or 6 months. Like regular life for me. Like I love being with my family and doing all kind of stuff, but I'm like, I could be getting better and I can be like doing more and I can be challenging myself. I like to challenge myself, so I want to get back to fighting soon. I mean, I've worked super hard to get here. I just didn't work to get here. I want to get here and now, like, get to work.
Sure. And I mean, did you put in writing on this time? Did you like, no more teammates? If we could do me a solid, I'd love to not fight anybody.
No, I did. I really don't really know anybody too well in the 55 division. I'm kind of cool with a couple of guys and stuff. So I mean, I got a couple of guys that I do want to fight. That are good guys and stuff that I'm looking at, and there's a couple of veterans that are looking to retire, asking for one more fight that I think I'd be interested in. So I'm looking. There's like a lot of different stuff that I'm looking around and like hoping to do. I know BJ Penn's looking about. I know he had one more fight. I don't know if it was gonna be 45 or 55, but I've been a BJ Penn fan like forever, and that would be an honor. I mean, like I said that after my fight. I'm like, I would love to like freaking fight BJ Penn. Hell yeah, I'd like to fight. Like his name was a prodigy, for God's sake. So I mean, like, yeah, that'd be an interesting fight. So I mean, like, really just anything. Like, I'm looking to get interesting, fun fights and like fan fights, like fights that people want to see and like go from there.
Because I thought that part of the way to punch the BJ Penn card ticket was to either be at a club, at a strip club, or to be provoking him like Nick Lentz is. Because I believe Nick has put in his time on accosting him on the internet. So, yeah, I think you got to pick one of those two to really get a fight with BJ Penn.
My approach is a little bit more respectful. I'm like I say, I'm like to me, BJ's like one of my idols. So I wouldn't dare disrespect BJ Penn. I'm like, nah. I know a lot of guys, like, that's their approach. That's how they like to do things. But I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do it a little bit different when it comes to like getting things done and stuff. So I'm gonna put respect out there and do it the different way around.
Well, that's gonna bite you in the ass in the end. But you know what? Good for you. And I'm really happy that you're putting.
I'm not gonna stay here and talk shit on BJ Penn. No way. There's no way.
The weird part is I tend to do like a BJ Penn impression, so I was almost ready to just start accosting you as BJ Penn and seeing what that would do. But I understand now that you're a man of morals. And that I think it's probably a good thing for you. Keep that integrity about you, because I'm sure now that you're in the UFC, it's going to be one of those things where they're going to be like, but could you throw it a dolly at a bus? Because that would really help us with the promo package. Even though we hate it, but like, kind of love it. Is what it is.
I hope not.
Let's do this. I know you've got a class that you need to be teaching in a second, but there was something about your story that I did want to tell you and just kind of congratulate you on a side, which is one of the things I was very, very pleased about hearing was your persistence. There was something that was great about your story when I heard about all the things that you were overcoming. I mean, you were mentioning doing kind of lifts and going out there and having to pay for your gym when it was starting to go under a little bit on the flooding. Like, that's a very tough test to be put under. But I think, and I really, really think this, that when you had your opportunity this weekend, you made the most of it. So I definitely wanted to congratulate you and just say, like,
thank you.
I don't know that I can say things happen for a reason, but I can tell you this for sure. You were definitely ready for when it did.
Thank you. I mean, in anything, but especially in the fight game, if you're not persistent, then why do it? If you do it only for the growth of money or for fame, like if you're a musician, all you want to do is make money, you're in the wrong business, right? I'm a martial artist because I enjoy martial arts. I enjoy teaching people. That's what I enjoy doing. Give me 1 second. Jackson, give him a waiver to sign for his son. Right there, right here. And like, so I mean, as for me, I'm like, that's just what I want to continue doing and stuff like that. So everything else is just a plus on top of it. Like I would fight whether I would train people and fight whether I make pennies or if I make millions. That doesn't change like the persistence and power and the determination I put in the training. And that's what like even like my friends that know me, like they were like, dude, it's just so interesting to see you because you've never stopped. Like you've always just been, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Or I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm like, because like that's like if you like people see it. Like I even have some people hit me up on Instagram and stuff now, and they're like, oh well, how do I? I'm like, dude, don't put a time limit on it. You can't put a time limit on anything like that. Like that's like trying to figure out when you're gonna die. Like that's just not how it works. Like you have to just let it come. Like it has to flow and it has to be natural. And then if not, it looks cringeworthy if you like force it. You know what I mean? Sure. If you're trying to force personality, you're like force like destiny or thing. It doesn't look real. So I prefer to just trust my instincts and just work hard. And like that's just how my mother taught me. It's like just if you just keep working and keep your work ethic high, then you'll get what you want eventually.
Well, it's a true testament to that, and you should be thanking your family for instilling those very good morals and sense about you, my friend. Well, let's do this. Can we give any shout-outs to any of your teammates or any of your sponsors who have helped you get to here? Because I know it is always a trek and a journey to get there, sir.
Yes. All of my teammates here at the Academy, man. Justin Patton, Jake Schilling, Shaka Worthy. That's my little brother. John Diaz-Seuss. I already said Jake Schilling. Who else? My man Romeo. My man Rocky. He comes down from another gym and helps me out all the time. All the guys up at the Mat Factory. My coaches, my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, Marshall. My boxing coach, Chris Williams. My head coach, Dan, a.k.a. Master White Fang. That's White Fang, not Bang. I got to tell people that White Fang Muay Thai is different. My wrestling coach Sylvester and Isaac and all those guys, man, and like all my man Dom and all the guys from the Mat Factory for just constantly pushing me and like keeping me moving forward and stuff, man. Like it's rough, but it's worth it, man. I thank you, and I give a shout out to the academy, my gym, man, all of my students and everyone that just come in and they help me to pursue my career by helping me pay the bills. Because man's got to eat, I got a family, I got to feed, and like people paying bills and stuff, it keeps the gym open and it helps me move forward.
Well, before we get you on out of here, let's just make sure we're putting in a good word with Taco Bell. Taco Bell, if you hear it, this man is one of the best possible people who sponsor.
Those are my main sponsors. I love Red Bull. I want to get a corporate sponsorship from Red Bull. Y'all ain't got to pay me money. Just send me a week's supply of Red Bull every week, and I'll be cool with that.
This is the worst way to go ahead and get sponsorship and be like, listen.
Just be like, you just want Red Bull?
I just want to say this: Red Bull, Taco Bell, give the man money. But if you really need a reference, I'm just going to send you a link to UFC 241, just so you know. The man here has a promising future in the fighting organization. Khama, I hope in the future we can reconnect. And hopefully before your next fight, we actually spend a little bit of time where we can schedule it out a little bit ahead of time. So
I almost blacked out that night. I almost blacked out in the sauna. And I came up and I lay in the bed and I was like, oh, man, I forgot. I woke up like 2 o'clock in the morning like, oh my God, there's no way I'm doing an interview right now. I'm pretty sure the athletic commission would be like, that dude's not fighting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that much. I just thought it was really funny because I remembered I reached out to Marshall and he was like, would you be interested? I was like, of course I'd be interested. It's just I know weight cuts and I know fighters and, you know, there's a reason I don't typically go and, like, interview fighters beforehand because I don't like going up to them and being like, so you think you're going to win? Because, like, who the hell's going to say no?
Yes, who doesn't think exactly.
So anyway, in the future, we'll be happy to reconnect with you. So when you get your next fight, we will be in touch with you and could not have been more excited for you, man. You put on a great show when the lights were on you and you gave us something fun to end the UFC's ESPN telecast and something even more forward to look when the actual pay-per-view hits. So here's hoping great things for you, man.
All right, man. Thank you so much for doing this, brother. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, guys, do me a solid. Keep it locked here. We will be right back after these commercial breaks. But first, we're going to see what happens when I ran into Craig Jones and gave him something that I had promised him a long time ago. I hope you enjoy it. We'll be right back with BJJ Fanatics team after these messages. We are here over at Kinetic, and I've been waiting about a year and a half to give this man this product. Our good friend over at KO Sports asked us to give this to him because he asked for it, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. So, would you like to go ahead and see what it is?
I'll put it on right now.
Are you going to put it on right now? All right. I mean, that's up to you, dude. That's optional. Holy shit. This is the most absurd thing. So, I want you guys to get it. Okay. Why is it that you wanted this? When you saw it, what made you want to have it?
I feel like it would help me get through immigration.
Because the exact quotation was, you saw this and you go, that's amazing, how do I get one? I was like, I think I can pull some strings.
But this is pretty generous, 2XL.
Well, I mean, listen, dude, you say it until you put it on. Once you put it on, it's a little more...
It's tighter?
It's a little tighter than it seems. And at the time, you were like, oh, I'm so fat right now. But now you're starting to get lean over for ADCC.
Hey, Edwin.
Wow. If you don't squat life next event, you gotta wear it. That's fair.
This is the bench warmer.
That's the squat.
bench warmer. That's amazing. Well, we want to thank our good friends over at KO Sports for giving us that. Craig Jones endorsed. So if you see him here, please don't pull him through customs. But he did say at some point he's going to compete in it. I don't know when that's going to be. So I don't know.
Someone's got to take the team out to get me in there.
Well, you know what the good news is? We saw you here tonight. Do we see you back here at a future Kinetic or a future Grappling event?
For sure. Any Fight Pass event.
You'll be there at any Fight Pass event? I think that's a pretty good way of making that happen. Well, Greg, we thank you very much. We thank our friends over at KO Sports Gear. Thank you so much for the product. And keep it locked here. We'll keep you guys in the know. thank you guys for holding still. We're very happy to have you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon over here. It is Best Coast time 2:08. So I got to be honest with you guys. I think it's an important thing to establish honesty on a program such as this. You guys are the audience. You always come in. You're very reliably here. I love you guys. I like to think you love me too. So when sometimes there is audio problems, I do my very best to work around those things. Sometimes, things happen on the fly. And unfortunately, with the interview that I got with the entire team, BJJ Fanatics, the audio was a little rough. So I did the best that I could to go ahead and fix it. But for your viewing pleasure, I ended up making some closed captions for this interview because I know sometimes it's a little hard to hear. So you're more than welcome to go and turn down the volume on this one. Most of it's still pretty listenable. It's just, I understand that. I thank you in advance for understanding and working with us. I hope in the future, maybe we'll pull an Oprah and get some transcripts on this one. But this is a really fantastic interview. It was after the Kinetic event on Friday. It was with Team Monstars, aka BJJ Fanatics, and it was an impressive showing by them. I mean, everybody expected them to win, and it was something to behold. And none more impressive, maybe, than Lachlan Giles, who ran a perfect 5-0 in the very first round. And, of course, a great performance from Nicky Rodriguez and later from Gordon Ryan. The return, the very first time he's been competing in a number of months, and the test for ADCC. Now, you may have seen other interviewers talk to them, but not really assembled in this way, especially as ridiculous as they all are, and we know that. So, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoy my exclusive interview with all of Team BJJ Monstars, aka Team BJJ Fanatics, aka Team Craig Jones. I hope you guys enjoy it.
I want to take credit for inspiring the guys. We were all lined up in the back, and I said, gentlemen, beyond in that room, those mats, it's immortality.
Mortality.
Take it. And Lachlan did.
I have assembled all of Team Craig Jones over here. You got Craig Jones, Lachlan Giles, Nicky Rodriguez, Edwin Asby, and of course Gordon Ryan. Here's the nice part about it. They made quick work for the evening, which is a great thing to see. Why don't we go ahead and start with the most obvious person, which is the man who set the tone tonight, Lachlan Giles. Sir, how much more do you feel that you're going to sell than the rest of these guys on your BJJ Fanatics DVD?
If I can catch up to these guys, I'll be pretty happy.
Did you feel any pressure starting the night off?
A bit, but I was also, I know like much of what you do is probably the most pure grappling in their thing, so I was like, okay, this might be to me, like, maybe the hardest matchup, like style-wise, so I had a bit of pressure there because I was taking them first.
Well, you started it off very, very nicely. One of the things I was most impressed about with you is you made close work of everybody. You were able to do the entire first team. You feel good about that?
Yeah, pretty good. Very good.
Well, you know what? Here's the nice part about that. I'm very excited about that. But I want to bring in Craig Jones over here. Craig, here's a question for you, sir. How did you select him first, and why did you select him first?
Well, we lost the match a few months ago. So
Okay.
I thought we did my shot to avenge it. Obviously, avenge it.
And you felt pretty good about it. You felt like he avenged it. Did you have faith in him?
We were thinking about round two, but we had
It was good because you seemed very confident throughout the evening. There was one moment where you basically went up to him and you're like, "Do you need water? You good? All right, good luck. All right, get back on out here."
I was a good time. It was like, we did a DVD, so it was like,
You 100% had to, like, while everybody else was massaging him, you were just kind of like, "Here, water, and bye, I'm gonna sit down." Let me ask this question real quick, because I'm gonna ask him in a moment. But how did you feel when Gordon Ryan was put on your team and he was under your team? It's Craig Jones's team featuring Gordon Ryan. How did you feel about that?
I liked it a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot too, because like, he's my coach, captain of the team.
Well, of course, I mean, you lucked out on that. So you guys did a very, very impressive thing. But I also want to move on over. Nick Rodriguez, of course, having a great night tonight. Did you guys seem to do a fake out with Edwin? Was that the point of what you were doing? Because there's an element of surprise?
Yeah. Pretty much we got like 30 seconds to decide the match, so it's going to go out. And, a little bit technical.
Sure. No, it seemed like there's this little guy about to go out, the smallest guy of the group, and then they sent
He's a fucking monster out there too. Shit, yeah, that's what happened, man. It was a little bit of a surprise.
I mean, you definitely made a great impact out there. I did compare you a little bit to human interface when computers start to learn how to go ahead and kill people, because your leg lock tonight was pretty devastating. Can you tell us about that?
Thank you very much. Shout out to Dan Hart for the grind. Leg lock skills. Definitely wouldn't be there without them. But yeah, it's not bad for my first ever leg lock attempt. Pretty sure, yeah, competition. I've never went before, so having success with that definitely boosts my confidence in the late game, and just keep progressing from here, man.
It was very, very impressive, sir. You made a very, very big impact here tonight, and we're very proud of you, sir. For sure.
Thanks so much.
Let's go over to Gordon Ryan. Gordon, here's the thing. You had an amazing night. How did you get the call to come on this team?
So Jake Shields actually got hurt. It was like a few days before the event, and the amazing thing about Jake Shields is that he's never had any injuries. Like, he's been fighting for 25 years in the UFC and all these major grappling events. And he doesn't have any injuries. His just lower back gets tight sometimes. So his lower back is tight, he like can't stand up. So his like lower back starts getting bad. And I looked at the competitors and I was like, just like maybe a good warm up for ADCC. So I went in Monday, we got the call he was out. I went in Monday, I agreed to go in Monday, and I had to do a weight cut, and here we are.
I mean, it worked out very nicely. Was there any fear this would interfere with ADCC?
No, this is really a warm up to see how my youth feels for ADCC. I wasn't wrestling too much tonight. I was doing most of it. If I was wrestling, it was for my butt. So there's still some question with the knee. But I felt good. I'm just happy to be back.
It was good to see you back. I mean, here's the thing. We all worry about the knee. We want you to be your best because we want to see you do well at ADCC. We want to see you get out because it's a fun time, but we wouldn't want it to just be fucked up and have that feel. Of course. But let's talk about this. What did it feel like to be, though? You've got a captain that looks like, you're essentially, is it okay, guy? But like, let's just look at it though, actually. But you're so used to being the headliner, you essentially were on a team that was featuring, but that he was the captain. Did that do anything to you mentally?
It was fine. I'm a team player, especially compared to training wrestling episodes now, so it doesn't matter for me. Tonight I'm just happy to go out and get some matches.
And it felt good, I'm sure, because you had the opportunity to compete with Urijah on a previous event. So, of course, to come back here, it feels good to continue that team grappling experience. Can we expect to see more team grappling after ADCC from you?
Yeah, of course. I really like this format. It's interesting because people don't realize how tiring it is going against fresh guys. Especially like in my case, most people are just trying to get me out. And they're just trying to not get submitted. Like, to go against like 3 or 4 fresh guys who are just trying to not get submitted is fucking difficult. So I think it's a really interesting event, and test your technique, test your cardio, test your strategy, and it's a really fun event for me.
It's great stuff, dude. I was very happy for you. And I have to say this, one of the best parts of my night is I'm watching there, I'm over ringside, I can't help but notice, Rafael Domingos is a very good showing with you. But there was a moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did you tell him good luck, buddy, toward the end, at the beginning of the end of that?
Yes, I did. I heard the announcement cable. Like, there's just over 3 minutes left. I'm like, did you hear that? Only 3 minutes. Good luck, buddy.
It was a very fun moment, and he seemed to go in kind of a lot of respect to you put out very good performance against you as well. Well, big congratulations to you, sir. When we see you next with the ADCC, I have one last person coming over this way. Come on over. Here's the thing, Edwin. This is your good side? Here's the thing. The Hills, a few days ago, here tonight, are you becoming this Highland in Jiu-Jitsu?
I'm trying to, it's not easy doing it all. Gym owner, also,
Sure.
you know about that. Model, Hollywood star, Jiu-Jitsu expert.
No, I think it's Jiu-Jitsu, if I remember correct.
They fixed it.
I know they fixed it, but
messed it up.
I can say this. I've worked in entertainment. If I would have made that mistake, I would have been fired. But very nice person.
Yeah.
Very nice that they were able to.
She's gone. So yeah, I know. I feel like the kid in the group project, which I was always said there was homework, and then I didn't do any more in the group project and I still got to eat it.
You did, and you know what the important thing is? You were 7 times throughout the night, at least talking the most amount of trash. I think that you were instigating the most amount of trash talk. Was that your plan by design?
No, they told us, we have some 5 minutes to talk shit, so I said, okay, let's get this popping, you know? I was kind of bored, and I knew like Gordon was going to fight, I was going to fight. So I was like, all right, awesome.
Well, I was finding, though, with Nicky Rodriguez, you were kind of brought out there.
Yeah, to mess with them.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh yeah, we're going to beat up this like skinny kid. I think I'll probably just wipe that squad. We got out Bowser, and then we nailed the final boss, Nicky Rodriguez, and he finished.
Well, I mean, did that feel though a little bit of a bait and switch for you because you know you're tricking the team, but then you also didn't get to compete.
Not really, I didn't care. I was just happy. Me and Craig basically knew we were going to fight. Yeah. And then somebody saw that Gordon, didn't think anyone was capable of doing it. But that's okay. We're going to defend our title, and me and Craig are going to start with that. So then we're going to wipe out both squads, and we're not going to have no fight.
I mean, did you feel a little bit like this was an unfair team? You guys had assembled?
I mean, it was. We had 5 days, 3 headers, and then everyone on the same side.
So there was a salary cap to build the team.
Yeah, and you got those guys that we got.
Well, I mean, it obviously paid off tonight.
Yeah.
Tell people where your gym is in case they're wondering where they can go.
Basically, Tarzana, Southern California, come check it out.
That's good stuff. I just want to say big congratulations. You didn't do much, but you were the heart of the team. The whole time that was going on.
If you want to learn how to win, go buy my new BJJ Fanatics edition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Keep it locked here at Verbal Typecast for more information. We love the fact that we were able to interview all the people here. It was a great time over at Kinetic. We'll see you guys on the mats.
Okay, so clearly I have thoughts. A couple of which are, I was not pleased to find out the audio sucked on that one. So I spent a good while writing the captions. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I thank you very much for sticking around for that entire interview. I can tell you this. We also have Urijah Faber that we did get to interview. The audio was a little bit better there. You hear a little bit on the frequency on that one too. Again, my apologies. You know, we do the best that we can when bad things happen. So this interview with Urijah Faber, we caught right after doing the interview with Team BJJ Fanatics. And one of the things that's really great is hearing his perspective as to why he was interested in doing this, how he's able to do it and balance all of those things together, and more importantly, what we can expect in the future, not just from Kinetic, but also, perhaps, his own MMA career. I hope you guys enjoy this interview that I did with Urijah Faber. I'm here with the Hall of Famer, Urijah Faber, who, by the way, congratulations for coming back, sir. It's very nice to see you back in an octagon. Most people, when they retire, you go, no, we don't need you back. You, I think we were kind of like, actually, holy shit, that's actually a lot of fun. How did this come together? How did you bring this whole Kinetic thing together, sir?
So I've had a long-lasting relationship with Keith Veltri, who's a longtime promoter. He does Roy Jones Jr. promotions. Roy Jones Jr. is a friend of mine as well, my favorite boxer of all time. And so we've been working on projects together off and on and talking about some other projects that we're doing together. And he is with Sean, who is the kind of brainchild of putting this together. He came up with the concepts, little changes on the team concept, and they actually had done all the footwork and let me fight my comeback fight, and then brought me on and said, hey, we're going with this thing. We're you know, putting it into action, and we'd love to have you tweak and be someone that helps represent it. So that's what I've done. I'm a guy that has come on and helped tweak, help promote, help do everything under the sun to make this a success, and I think we did a great job.
I gotta tell you, man, your enthusiasm for grappling is so welcome to us because it puts a new shine on so many of these guys. Like, getting the opportunity to see like a Nicky Rodriguez come out here where you're like, oh my God, this guy's a behemoth. It's like putting a gorilla out there, and seeing him become a new star under these lights, I think is really, really helpful. So as somebody who's always watching what you're doing, it's like, I just couldn't conceive, like, dude, you had a comeback fight. And then, like, 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, and by the way, I'm doing this grappling thing. No big deal. So
Yeah.
How do you find the time for all that, man?
I do not find the time for it. So I have, my baby girl and Jaslyn are at home, and so I have to make sure that I'm spending my time very wisely. My house is right next to the gym. My gym is my office. My house is my office. I'm always working, always doing business, and on top of staying in great shape. So it's, not many people can do what I do as far as output of energy and focus, but that's part of what makes me unique, and part of why I'm going to have what I do at the end of the day. And so, and as far as putting out the grapplers, look, the reason why we grapple originally has nothing to do with fame and fortune. It's something innate that makes us want to do it. And I understand that, and I appreciate it, and I love to see guys like, Craig and Gordon and the whole Mancheer, all these guys that are finally starting to see a little light at the end of the tunnel of something that they would have to otherwise stop doing and go join the real world. They're living their dream. They're living their passion. For me, that's so important. Just as individuals and sharing the same passion, it means a lot as well. So I'm happy to bring this event, and we're going to do a lot more and bring a lot more grapplers to light and hopefully grow the sport.
Thank God, somebody's got it. I mean, The nicest part about it is I see you get involved in this. I was curious, did participating in one of these kind of, when you did Quintet last year, did that spark something? Did that reignite kind of an interest to do something like a team grappling event for you? Because I saw the way that you acted, and I had the benefit of seeing the way that you treated the team, and your care and true compassion for the grapplers that I don't know that many people get to see, but I got to see you do that with them.
Yeah.
It was exceptional. So I just wondered, was that part of what helped inspire?
This wasn't my plan per se. I love grappling, and I love being a part of a team. Team sports for me have been a big part of my life. I played football, I played hockey. I was part of a wrestling team in high school, and fighting is a very individual thing, and so is jiu-jitsu, but it takes a lot of people to form a champion, and having that camaraderie in a hard life is very important. Having excitement and things to look forward to like this are super important. But competing in, I did Chael's submission underground against Paulo Miao, who's a 7-time world champ or whatever, and we went to like 6 overtimes, and he went on a few, a little time extension. That was my first little taste of grappling in the retired life. And then I did the Sakuraba match, which, Sakuraba is one of my favorite fighters of all times, and getting to compete against him was like just super exciting, and getting to be a part of that was amazing. And then I did the match with Nicky Ryan, who's a kid that I wouldn't have done it other than meeting him and wanting to put him on a pedestal and say, look, people need to see what this kid's all about. So I wouldn't have done it otherwise, because it's a 17-year-old kid and everything else. So for me, this was something that I was super excited to be a part of, just because of what it can be in the future and how close it is to my heart with my passions.
Speaking of your passions, what do we expect for you next in the fight? I mean, I see you've got Cejudo even saying, like, yeah, why not? Why not the two of you guys?
He didn't say why not. He said I have a call out, and I'm going to say some names, and these names, and whatever he said, the cringy way he said it, but he threw my name out there, and that was a week before I fought, and I answered the call. I knocked a guy out who's younger than Cejudo, who's a top up-and-comer, 15-1. And then I called Cejudo out back. Now, the question is, does Henry Cejudo really want that fight, or was he just talking to get me to respond? I responded. Will the UFC let that happen? I think they should. And what is it going to take to get there? So, that's what's next for me, a big fight.
All right. I mean, I'm glad you're into it, because I'm into it. I know when they mentioned it, I was like, yeah, I'd see that fight. And the beautiful part is it went from being like, oh, Uriah's coming back, to no, let's see that fight and let's keep him around. And if he wants to fight, you're in great shape, man. So we're very excited about that. Well, I have to ask this. I want to be respectful of your time, but did you get retirement watches you have to give back to people now that you came back? Like, what happens when you retire and then you're just like, nah, I'm back?
In the UFC? Well, I will say, the UFC has always been very good to me, Zuffa in general, as far as, with the way they treat me. And the hardest thing I would say about coming back is the amazing send-off that they gave me. I mean, I was getting teared up in the back, and I was in my hometown, and it was like, man, do I come back after I had such a great send-off? But that was the only reason I didn't want to come back. The only reason. All these things were stacking up of why I should, like, get to show my guys how it's done, be an example of, getting up early in the morning and doing the things that I see some of the guys I want to do it not doing it, and getting a big check at the end of the day, and knowing that I can still compete, and having my baby daughter be a part of the process, and a financial raise for these investments I want to do, and a pumping up of all my business that I'm doing, and I'm like, yes. What's the no? Yeah, you said you're going to retire. So at the end of the day, I talked to my peers and said, dude, I'm getting the itch, feeling froggy. Let's jump.
Well, I have to say, man, you really, really just put the exclamation mark on coming back. That was an impressive performance. You're in great shape. I don't really see a problem with it. And more importantly, I always fear this for fighters, which is I don't want them to feel like they can't make the call, but I like the fact that you get to make the call. You wanted to come back, and you get to do it. So as far as I'm concerned, fight until whenever you want to stop, dude.
Yeah, and I may stop now. I don't know. We'll see. Money talks.
Wait. No. We got to see the Cejudo fight. I don't know what we're talking about here. You have always been so generous with your time.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it very much. Keep it locked. Oh, what's
Baby
this?
Callie.
Look at this.
That's my baby daughter's name.
I didn't. Oh,
and
Jesus.
the state I love.
Who knew the California kid was, of course, going to love this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Keep it locked here at verbaltapcast.com for more information.
A very funny thing happened. I thought about this, and I realized it was the debut of Edwin Najmi on this show. It was the debut of Khama Worthy on this show. Nicky Rodriguez now has been on the show 3 times, and that's the second time that Urijah has been on with us. He has always been very gracious with his time. I've interviewed him several times, and it's so great to see him getting involved in grappling and providing more and more opportunities. And I really do mean what I say, that he has afforded grapplers a ton of very nice experiences, just in the way he treats them and takes care of them backstage. I don't want to give him, too much and reveal too much of what he does, but it is very generous and very nice what he does. So I thought that would be important to note. We keep this moving, people, because we have another interview lined up for you right now. This interview comes live, aka not live. I mean, it happened at Combat Jiu-Jitsu. And we got the winner, Kody Steele, who also happened to be on an episode of Verbal Tap leading into it. He's also on the recap episode of the Over Under Kevin installment, of which we talk about this weekend's fights from UFC 241. But beyond that, Kody Steele had an amazing performance. He won all 4 of his matches this weekend to take home the Combat Jiu-Jitsu title in the welterweight division. He is allegedly the first. I can't prove or disprove that. I think he is. But he's a good kid, very, very nice human being, very humble, comes out of Texas. And I think if you do not know this man's story, get to know a little bit more about him, because it is quite clear we're going to be seeing more and more from him in the days to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my interview with your Combat Jiu-Jitsu winner, Kody Steele.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the winner of Combat Jiu-Jitsu, the welterweight championship, our good friend Kody Steele. Sir, how are you doing, my man?
Feeling good. Just won the tournament, so I'm very happy right there.
Are you tired?
I'm extremely tired. I went into overtime in all my matches.
Multiple times,
so,
yes.
Fuck, yeah.
It happens, dude. I totally understand how that goes. However, I do have a few questions for you. Number 1, you were on the most recent episode of Verbal Tap. Yes. How responsible are we for your win?
Very big. I won. I predicted all these fights against this guy named Kevin, and pretty sure I won most of those bet wins. So he's screwed.
Well, we're gonna have to find out on the next installment of Verbal Tap. So don't worry about that for right now. I do want to tell you this though. I don't want people to know how that resulted. Maybe you didn't win. Maybe you did win. But the thing is, I don't understand why you're talking about wins when you're wearing this over here, sir. Look at you with that. You won that. We need to talk about that. How did you end up getting on this card here today?
So my buddy William Tackett, he was supposed to be in the tournament, but he got called to Kasai, and he fought. He was supposed to fight Jason Rao, but Jason Rao pulled out, and then he fought this other cat, and he was really good, and William killed him, so I ended up taking a spot. But I was actually supposed to just have a super fight on the show, but I actually ended up taking the spot. So thank you to William for letting me get on taking it.
I mean, you made him proud in it. He seemed to make you proud as well, going on Kasai and crushing it yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So it was a good weekend for your crew. Let's ask a few more questions here. If we're getting into the real of all of this, you were able to come out here today. You said something up there on the stage when you finally had that championship belt in your possession. You were like, I wasn't really sure I was going to win this here today. Tell me how that feels, because you obviously did something to win it.
I'm always confident, very confident. I was telling my friends back at home, I was like, man, I just got this weird feeling like I'm going to take this home, but I don't know. I just thought there's a lot of good competitors on here, but I just believe myself. I believe in the work ethic that we do back at home, and so
we gotta talk about that, because you guys are lifting way too many things, and normally I want to give you shit about that, because every day I see them out there grinding, putting in sprints, putting in multiple weights, and you guys are doing them like with ridiculous fast reps. But it seemed to pay off here today. A lot of people, I think, were exposed to what I might call a few gutsy calls. Like, those were some gutsy moments in overtime that you had today. But I think one thing that we learned, if anything, was some impeccable timing that you have. How many times are you running like these overtime rounds? Like, how prevalent is that in your training?
It's funny because that's like one of the weakest parts of my game, and then because I did this tournament a while back and I never did OT, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna lose. And same thing happened at the tournament. I went in OT in every single round, and I ended up just gutting it out. And then after that, I was like, okay, like it's time to work. But my boy Andrew and William, like we do OT now back at the Fight Factory, and Mark Williams and Andrew, they're psychos. So it's hard to sub those kids and everything.
Yeah.
And so.
I think that's part of where the extra resolve was coming in during those really, really gritty moments, because you didn't just have them with anybody. You had them with really, really tough competitors who seemed game and have a lot of experience in these. I mean, Nathan Orchard, during one of his rounds, when you get to overtime with him, he's been in that world before,
Yeah, I've been watching him. I've been watching Orchard for a very long time. Ever since he's been on the scene and then he's been on these EBIs and everything, like I was just like I knew he was gonna be tough. I was watching a lot of footage on the OT. I was like looking at how they fight hands, looking which way they turn, and how people are getting out. So like I study a lot of the game, especially when I'm going into a format like this. I'm studying and studying.
Absolutely. Well, it paid off, and one of the things that I have to credit you for is you looked like you were exhibiting a high aptitude for making adjustments in the middle of those moments. Like, one of the things that I think that you really, really saw that was really, really prevalent for your game was it looked like going left would be disastrous, but you would go deep into the crevasse, one might say, sometimes going into the choke in order to find your escape. And a lot of the times I felt I could see the positioning of your hands and how you were doing it, where, yeah, that was ballsy, but it was also very effective, and the timing was perfect on those.
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since I started jiu-jitsu, like my neck, I don't know. People always try to grab my neck, and I don't know. Sometimes I'll give my neck to people, and they think they have it, and they just like fucking wrench my neck, and then I'm like still breathing, so I just let them gas their arms out, and then once I get out, I'm like, you're fucked, and then I'll start coming.
Don't get me wrong. This is a strategy I employ as well, but not quite as successfully as you. I think I might be able to say. So tell me a little bit about your day. What were your memories of your matches? Because, yes, you did go to overtime in all of them, but I think that showed a great resolve. You were grappling for all of your match time plus the overtime. Like, walk me through a little bit of your day. How did your day start with that?
Yeah, so I kind of like each fighter, I kind of like was studying. I studied a lot of the fighters, and so my first, a few of them, I was like, okay, this guy's going to be like this, going to be like this, and my game plan was a little bit the same, except for some of them. Like some of them, like I came in and I was like looking just to put the hands on a lot of people and just like shake them up and make it entertaining, make it fun to watch. And then I saw some guys, I watched one of my fighters' opponents, he like pulled a heel hook in like 20 seconds or something like that. So I was like, fuck, I was like, I gotta watch out for that. And then, but I knew for good reason, like I'd take it to OT and then we'll settle it there.
You were very calm in those, and that was very, very good to see. They didn't.
normally they kind of like tell you how many seconds you have on your very last match for the overtime.
Yeah.
What was going through your head? Did you at any point think like, I think I've got it? Like, did you know for sure? Like, what happened at that point?
Well, the ones that I finished, I was like, okay, we're good on that. But like the finals, like I didn't know. Like I knew I escaped faster, but then like I got out on the third one, and I was like, oh, and then there was the second one, and going into the third one, I was like, I think I can fucking win this. Like, I think I'm good. I just gotta get the fuck out of here. And then I got out, and then like no one was cheering. I was like, fuck, the finals. Did I miss this? Did we have like a fourth OT or something? I was like, shit. And then I looked over, and Orchard was walking around. So I was like, nah, I think I won.
Right. There was definitely a moment where you're kind of like, and then you just kind of did this, like,
yeah,
cool, okay, I think I won.
Like, I win this shit? Let's go.
And then that's when they start bringing the belt on over you. Well, let's talk about a few things. The first of which that I really want to bring up was, you mentioned that you were studying your opponents, and I was wondering, how much did you study with them beforehand, and how much was it when you were here and you were watching them compete? Was it more when you were here and watching them compete?
Not really. I kind of already like studied them before. Some of them I like Orchard and stuff. Like I've already watched them.
You've got like a bank on.
Yeah, I've been watching them, but I kind of studied them before. Like I was in the hotel room the night before, just watching videos. Like I don't think I left the bed. I was just watching videos, and I was like, okay, this. How do I defend this? And I was like watching my buddy William Tackett. Like I was watching even his matches because he's like a wizard at like defending leg locks. I was like, okay, so he switches his hips here, and so yeah, I'm a big student of the game, and like I said, I'm still like learning a lot.
Is your belt too heavy?
And then that's good.
Do you need I can take it. I mean, I've seen you lift a lot of things, but it seems like you're struggling with it, and you need somebody that I think can probably handle that kind of weight a little bit better. No, but it was something that I noticed as well. When we talk about the aptitude for your ability to get out of a lot of those bad situations and spots, one of the things I noticed as well was you seem very researched on a lot of your opponents, and I think that's what helped with a lot of your timing and a lot of your game time kind of moments.
Yeah, so like a month or so before this, I was on Third Coast, and I fought DJ Jackson, and I studied the fuck out of his game. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for him because I already know he's gonna try to do this. If he leaves this leg out, he's gonna go for this leg. If I leave this leg, he's gonna go for this leg. So I was like, so I just anticipate, and then so I kind of know what's gonna go down before I know,
Well, you looked very impressive here tonight, man. I mean, one of the nice things about EBI is it gives that next platform to the next generation of grapplers. How old are you? I got asked this several times today.
I'm 24.
Okay. So people were asking because they were like, how old is he? How long do we have to deal with him for? And it is very, very amazing to get this accolade that I think becomes a launching point for so many people. And I think that's what a lot of people wish for, because that's a grueling hour plus of grappling that you had today. And I think it's one of those things where you show a certain kind of resolve that makes it fun to watch. And if people have ever seen, and don't get the wrong idea here, people, this is the man who once very famously was too good at wrestling in the IBJJF tournament, so they made him go viral because he hit a massively amazing suplex that was illegal. So, the man has lived a few lives, and he can definitely give you some exciting moments. But I knew the moment I saw that footage of you, I knew we had like a Stars Born moment where I go, this kid's not going to take any heat from this. It's only going to help him.
Yeah, it's funny because it was before that. I think I was like purple belt. I just got my purple belt or something. Maybe I was blue. I can't remember. But I was at on an invitational, and I hit another like suplex right to the back, and I choked him. And that was pretty dirty. And then I went and I did it at the IBJF and got more grief for that. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it on here, but I was like, if I get the opportunity, I might just do it anyways.
You made a pretty good ability to show the people here today. So I think you should be very proud of yourself, sir. Can we take care of any sponsors? Who is helping you out over here?
Oh man, Archetype, he's a very good sponsor. He's helping me with everything, travel and tournaments, and helping me get my name out there as much as he can. And he's great. And then everybody back at home in Austin, Texas, Brazilian Fight Factory. I wouldn't be anywhere without those guys, and my instructor Rodrigo Cabral. He's helped me from white belt ever since I've been training white belt like 6 years ago. He's just been helping me. He's been pouring into me, and then a lot more good people like William Tackett. Everybody and Andrew. They're all pouring their game into me. I mimic everything after everybody, and yeah, I'm just blessed to have such good people around me.
You are definitely surrounded by good people. I will vouch for that for you. I do have two notes for you. I think the first of which was, how angry were you that you didn't have one of your go-to motivators here, which was, I was like, if this kid
I've seen him before with DJ Jackson. He was like, no, I got to go without the shirt. And I was like, I don't think you can do that in combat jiu-jitsu.
No.
So is there ever a moment where you were like, God damn it, I need this shirt off?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, it's so tight. I couldn't barely breathe because I wasn't tired. I was just because I couldn't breathe. My rash guard was too tight. But, you know, like, yeah, I was definitely trying to, like, I wish. But I think on the email it said, do not take shirt off.
Right.
I don't know if they wrote that for me or what, but I definitely did not want my rash guard on.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. You know, especially after that first match when you're like, you know, I'm sweaty enough.
Yeah.
Maybe I could slip out of some shit here, too. So I was definitely feeling bad for you.
Yeah.
And two, we will see you back on Verbal Tap, so we're very excited to see the results of that. You guys can check that out. That's going to be the over-under installment of UFC 241 on the Verbal Tap podcast, which you'll see him back again. However, I think we got to do something here real quick as they're trying to go ahead and kick us off. I appreciate you guys taking the stuff and doing that very nicely. Before we get you on out of here, can we get verification? Your mom's over here, right?
Yes, my mom.
Okay. Kody Steele, is that his real name? Can you get your mom?
Mom.
Kody Steele, is that his actual real name?
Yes.
Okay, because it does sound conspicuous.
No, it's really his name.
It's really his name. Why did you name him Kody Steele? Or Kody?
All my kids are K's.
Yeah, we got 3 of them.
Okay.
KKK.
Cody and Kaya.
That's adorable. Because he sounds like an action hero, and it just is. It's just pretty convenient that now he has like this silverware, but it's just like, have you seen the new Kody Steele movie? Yes, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in that one, so it's just one that we've had some fun with. Well, sir, I cannot be more proud of you. I had a very good feeling you would do well, but I knew when I pulled you on the show where it would be a high likelihood I'd be talking to a whole bunch, and it looks like you're stuck talking with me, so I look forward to getting the chance to go ahead and see you do even more from here, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, let's keep it live here at verbaltapcast.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you later.
That was a lot of show. Not gonna lie. Gave you guys a lot of interviews on this one. We started with Khama, who talked about his amazing performance over at UFC 241. Then we backtracked a day or two over to the Kinetic Grappling event, interviewing all of Team BJJ Fanatics. That's Edwin Najmi, Craig Jones, Lachlan Giles, Gordon Ryan, and Nicky Rodriguez, otherwise known as Team Craig Jones, also known as Team Monstars from Space Jam 1 or 2, depending on which one you want them to be from. We also talked with Kinetic representative, CEO, grappler, president. I don't know exactly what his whole future is there, but he is the gentleman that we know as Urijah Faber as a fighter, but he is also working behind the scenes to help promote and get grapplers some more shine on UFC Fight Pass. And of course, we closed with our good friend, Kody Steele, who had an amazing showing over at Combat Jiu-Jitsu over the weekend. There's a lot of grappling, a lot of events out here in beautiful California, so I was very pleased to have representatives from all 3 of the major events that were going on. Of course, we want to send our love to the folks who did Kasai over the weekend. That was an amazing, amazing event. Could not have been more happy about the performance of Kasai and how it ended up looking. And I want to give a shout out to folks like Junie Ocasio, who had an amazing performance. Obviously, Zhao Miao ended up winning the 8-man tournament, but Junie had an amazing performance. Also, shout out to Will Tackett, who had an amazing tournament. And then if you want to talk about friendship, Will and his little brother, Andrew ended up winning the Holy Invitational, which I believe is out in Texas. So it was a very, very good weekend for the Texas children, if you would. So I think that is going to go ahead and start closing it out for us. If you do not do so already, do me a solid. Go like us at Grappling Hour on all of the major social medias. That's talking, let's see, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, at Grappling Hour. Give us some likes there, because your likes turn into more people's likes. And honestly, I can't do this show without you guys giving us some love. So every little bit helps. Every share. I want to say thank you to Justin Perry, who just shared this video. It means a lot to us here at the show. And more importantly, it means that we can continue getting big name guests, because this was a very, very big episode. Cannot believe we put all those names in just 1 hour, really. Anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hour. My thanks to all of you for your endearing support. I hope that you guys like this. I hope you share it multiple times. I hope you tell friends about it. But it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you guys on the mats.